Hey everybody, happy Monday. How you folks doing today? Hey Ernestine. Ernestinance? I'll pronounce it right one of these days. Alrighty. Hope you folks had a good weekend. I think we got a little more snow again, but it's supposed to be warming up a little bit again. We got 1 week left of winter, right? That's and then we're done, I think. Just 1 week left. Ernestinance. That one? Nice. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so we are moving on now to Chapter 8 and Inheritance. So we're not going to actually do the whole chapter, though. There's a lot of stuff in here that we're basically going to save for the next course, Object-Oriented Programming in Java, the 2151 course that we have here. So not super deep into inheritance, but we're going to use it when we get to Java FX here, which I'm pretty excited about. That'll be a lot of fun. So we just need to get some of the basics down because what we want to do here, if you remember, we talked about these outcomes here, you'll be able to demonstrate the core concepts of inheritance. That's it. Nothing super advanced, just the core concepts here. So it won't be too bad. That's the goal. And I was playing around with the virtual machine, and I found out they do have the Intellij idea tool installed. So if you folks don't mind, I want to try using that instead of NetBeans because NetBeans has been driving me nuts lately. So this is Intellij idea. If I can get it to find here on my computer, there we go. Oh, I don't want the educational edition. I want the community edition. I have the wrong one? I think I have the wrong one. So the community edition is free here. If you just search Intellij idea, this is from JetBrains. We're in a lot of pretty cool software. This is the community version is what we want here. Yeah, that should be fine because we don't need all the other super fancy stuff. Look how cute their I agree to cookie policy is. Looks like a little terminal screen. Yeah, so I think we'll be fine. You can get the edu version. I don't think we need anything off of that, though. I think so the community edition should be fine here. No, you're welcome to keep going with NetBeans. It's just it's been irritating me so much lately that I wanted to give this one a try. NetBeans will be fine. It definitely gets the job done, but like the amount of trouble I've been having with it is all. So I wanted to try it here. Intellij. So we'll give it a shot here. So I thought I had community. I wonder if they're both downloaded. Can I do that? Can I have them both? I don't actually know if I can or not. Really, Crow? Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard VS Code's not too bad. I haven't tried it for Java myself. Honestly, it just seemed like I had to do a bunch of plugins, but we'll see. Yeah, there's a lot of things that it does. Let's see, what do I have here? Okay, I've got PyCharm from JetBrains. That's what it is. I use that for my Python class. So okay, I only have the education version, but that's okay. It should be fine here. Yeah. So as far as we're getting for Chapter 8, let me grab that here. Where'd it go? There it is. Yep, so we start there. work on that one, and that one, and that one, that one, and that one. Let's see. So you'll want to probably stop about page 277 or so. I don't think we're going to go past that. Probably about 277 or so. You rebooted and your code stopped working? Oh no. Well, that's no fun. No fun at all. Alright, so here is Intellij. I don't need any of this. This is what I was playing with, so I want to do a new project. Let's see if it works. We'll try it. Oh my goodness. New. Can't even use a menu, folks. It's tired. Oh, some cache thing. Yeah, that can get really weird. We're just going to do a Java project here. Nothing else fancy. It's got my OpenJDK version 17, which is fun. If it doesn't find it, you can go add and you can point it to it. And you folks don't have to switch for sure. I mean, they'll both definitely work, but it actually works a little bit nicer with FX as well for us. All right, and then we'll go next. And let's make it from a template here for our command line application. So it gives us a class starting with main, which is good. That's probably what we want here. Go next. Now I need to tell it where to put it here. So again, I need to go find my GitHub directory. Let's go find that. So here's my account. And let's go find my documents. Documents. And then we'll find GitHub. And then we'll find our class, 1500, Monday, Wednesday, cool. And then, oops, another folder inside of that. We'll say this is inheritance. We want to be inside of the inheritance folder there. And we'll just make the base package inheritance. And say finish. Let's see how well this works for us. Inheritance doesn't exist, it'll get created. Good, we want to create the folder. Life should be good here. I'll do it in this window. I don't need this other one open right here right now. This is just the demo project. All right. Let's see what we got here. So here's our file. It calls it main. Sure, we can do that. Here's our place where we can write some code. Oh, I gotta zoom in a little bit here. The font's a little small. Find earlier. Appearance. It's really good for trying to use a new tool here. I promise it's nicer though. Let's see, appearance. Where is it here? Check some settings here. Yeah, Ernest, they're all exported out to YouTube. So exclamation point YouTube if you want the link there, or you can search for me. You'll find it there. Let's see. Settings. Aha. So you can find some font. You just want to change the font size, Crow. We're having fun this morning. This is what we want to do Monday morning, right? Here we go. Size. Let's go up to like 18 or so. How's that look now? I don't think it made it any bigger. It made everything else bigger, except for my code. Okay, great. Glad you're able to find it there. I tried the zoom thing here. Presentation mode. Go with font. There's custom font. Alt F3 for the next one. No? Font. This one in my editor. There we go. Size. Let's bump this one up here to like, what, 16, 18? Let's try 18. Does that look better, folks? A little easier on the eyes? Maybe? I think 18 is pretty decent. All right, and the rest of the window, I'm actually pretty impressed. Like everything else changed too. Look at that. So we'll just make sure it works here. Let's see. Oh yeah, and my S out shortcut still works. Like that. That's kind of cool. Hello world, and we'll make sure it can run. We'll try the run button. See if it runs here. All right. I know we've already done a hello world for Java, but you know, in the new tool, let's make sure it works here and see what we get. Let's think about it. There we go. Hey, it ran. Awesome. Okay, I'm excited. I'm very excited. Look at that. And this is what it did. Isn't that fun? All right, cool. So we can do some inheritance. Yeah, and there's so many shortcuts, SB Java. Lots of fun shortcuts. So I only pick up the ones that I use a lot, but you know, there's always all sorts of ones here. And then I think if we do our GitHub client, let's take a peek here. So this one has its own Git integration, which is cool. You see, like, there's all these Git tools here. Again, I'm sort of fond of the GitHub desktop because the GitHub desktop will be the same no matter which IDE you use, but that is sort of silly too. But it's easier for me to show everyone the GitHub desktop, and then we always use that same one every time. Oh goodness. Blood sugar is too high again. Why is it's being dumb here? That is weird. Try that. Okay, spend 1,500. Monday, Wednesday. Let's see. I don't think you wanted all of this stuff. I guess we do. Oh yeah, okay, so it does ignore some things here. Hector, thank you so much for donating those bits to the Student Scholarship Fund over at the University of Michigan Dearborn College of Engineering and Computer Science. I messed it up. I have not had enough coffee yet, my friends. This mug is one of my favorite mugs, and it's super large, and it's almost empty already. But that is not enough yet for a case of the Mondays. Not enough yet for a case of the Mondays. Oh, another random question for you folks here. I'm sort of curious. I found out looking at classes for the summer here that, oh my goodness, come on, computer. Come on, computer. It's for this 1500 class, so it's not necessarily all that applicable to you folks, but when I was looking at this classes we're offering for 1500, it's kind of weird. So we had 100. Oh, thank you so much for gifting a sub. That is so nice of you, our students. You don't have to do that. That will also go to the Student Scholarship Fund over at the University of Michigan Dearborn College of Engineering and Computer Science. I think in 2 more days is Giving Blue Day or something, so I'm going to donate on Giving Blue Day because they have some like fun challenges. They're like, hey, every hour there's another thing, and if throughout the day. There's one if whichever fund the most faculty donate to over there, they'll like give some matching money and all sorts of fun stuff here, which is cool. And for my friends here at OCC, please don't feel left out. We now have our own scholarship that just launched. Okay, so it's in funding phase. What is it here? Foundation, here we go. Our faculty have been talking about this for a little while here, and I'm pretty excited. This website's weird. I don't get this website, but it is the CIS Love to Learn Endowed Scholarship. We're working on getting this funded. The way the OCC Foundation does this for endowed scholarships is that they wait until the fund hits $10,000, and then once it's reached that or more, right, and then the goal is it'll get even more too, which is pretty cool, it will use about 5% of that per year for scholarships, which is not a whole lot at the moment, but as it increases more and more and more, I think that'll be really cool, and it can increase in value as well because they invest that amount here. So once we hit that $10,000 goal, which we're hoping to do within a year, based on all of our faculty getting together and some challenge grant money and things, it's a once a year $500 scholarship to start with. That's the 5% sort of thing. And it just works its way up from there. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm hoping if it gets funded within the year, that for fall of 2023, we can start actually issuing scholarships out to folks, which would be super cool. So that is out on our OCC page, and that's something we're pushing for too, which is super cool. So this is for my OCC friends. The bits and channel points or bits and subs and things all go over to U of M Dearborn, the College of Engineering and Computer Science, where I'm a lecturer and a student there in the doctoral program. Because I think that's pretty cool. All right, so the summer classes here. What are these seat numbers here? These are... What is happening here? I'm so confused. This is... Okay, we wanted summer specifically. That's the problem here. There we go. So over the summer, we're offering this course online, the regular 15-week semester here. It's got pretty decent enrollment here out of 30 people already, so that's pretty good here. This course here is a 7-week course. 7 to 8 week course here, and it's already on waitlist. And is that a thing you folks are interested in like double speed courses to do, like, to get it done in half the time to go twice as fast? I've never heard of doing this before. So this is my friend, Miss Bernadette McAllister, who's very nice. She's offering this one, and I thought that was super interesting that one filled up and even waitlisted rather than the other online course the regular time, and our in-person sections are not filling as fast, and that's sort of what we had expected and noticed with the enrollment trends, is that a lot of folks, not everybody, but there tended to be a bigger draw for the online classes, less so the in-person ones. We're still going to offer a mix of them because some people do learn better in person, and that's their preferred learning style, which is actually me, which is the weirdest thing. You'd think I love online learning, but I don't. It's not my style. But other people do like it, and it's flexible, and that way you don't have to drive out to Auburn Hills or drive out to Farmington Hills, sort of thing. But this 8-week class versus a 15-week class really confused me, because that seems awful to me. I guess, yeah, but so that's like 8 weeks. So everything is twice as fast. So like all the assignments you have half the time to do, essentially. So the Academic Support Center is still there in the summer, yes. Whether or not we have I think we still have tutors for CIS. I'm not as familiar with it, to be honest. I think I've only. Is this my second year? Is this my third year? Taught for 2 summers. I don't know. It was weird the first summer. I think I started in 2020. Yeah, so this will be my second year then. Yeah, so I've only taught 1 summer as a full-time faculty here, and that was still in the middle of the pandemic. It was a little weird. So yeah, they still have it there. Whether or not we're getting the same. Okay, yeah, doing some general eds over the summer. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I don't know. This idea of trying to get it done in half the time just seemed super weird to me, but apparently it's popular. Maybe it's just a summer thing too. We don't usually do these sort of compressed semesters in the fall or the winter. I've seen some 12-week semesters we've done, which is interesting. But okay, so sure, there are options, I guess. So that's sort of neat, I guess. Why not? Okay. Yeah. What else? Is that all I was gonna say? I think that was it. Do we find the advanced search? No, summer. The new website here still trips me up a little bit here. I preferred the search features of the old one, but that's okay. It's okay. We can figure it out here. We just need to find our classes here. We have 58 classes over the summer. That's kind of interesting here. There's a second page. Wow, 58 of them. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so those are the 1500s. Two options for 2151 out at Auburn Hills Monday nights, or again, is that 8 weeks again? No, that's a regular one. Okay. So the Monday ones for the summer are actually 14-week classes because the 4th of July and Memorial Day? Is that the one in May? Or yeah, May, I think is Memorial Day. And fall is Labor Day, I want to say. Yeah, so the Java 2 course, either out in Auburn Hills or online with Dr. Baugh. Again, seem to definitely have a preference for online here. 2 people versus 20 people have enrolled. So we'll see. C++ with Mr. Nasser. I'm teaching the data structures course. If you're taking data structures, we'd recommend you do 2151 first. It's not required, but having a little more Java under your belt is useful for that. Yeah, and then the web systems course is fun as well. I'm doing that one. And Python. That's right, Python is out there. Yeah, so the Monday classes then only meet 14 times because we're off for Memorial Day and we're off for the 4th of July. And there isn't time to put one more meeting Monday at the end of August because fall classes start real soon after that. Yeah, so it already, I don't know, the schedule's a little weird for that. The last Monday in May is Memorial Day. Okay. So, yeah, Monday will be a little weird, but we'll make it work. All right, yeah, so that's summer coming on up. Don't forget, registration is open. So, take a peek and see what you find, whatever's interesting. A Monday and a Wednesday class. It's a weird time for that one. Yeah, again, it seems to be most people prefer online, save the drive, possibly also the flexibility of it. We have 28 people enrolled versus 3. So, hey, thanks so much for following along, my friend. Glad to have you here. All right, should we get back to Java? I'm sorry. Oh man, still a little out of it here. So, we're going to add a class here. Let's add a new Java class. Let's make this one item. And let's sell a bunch of items here. Wow, that was weird. This get thing is nice, but we don't really care right now. Okay, so public class item. Right? Again, the idea with classes here is going to represent an object that we're going to interact with, and we can have multiple instances of this object in memory. So item then might have a private string for name, and a private string for, how about the SKU of the item that we're going to sell? Right, and then how about a private int for quantity, how many of them we want to buy, and then a private, this wasn't the project, was it? I'm so out of it, folks, I'm sorry. Double check what we're supposed to be doing here. No, we were doing our electric vehicle, right? Right? That's what it was. I've almost caught up with the labs here. I got a couple more of those labs to tackle, and then project 1 as well. But I'm getting up there with the grading finally. Yeah. Okay. Good. So do item. Okay, and then a double for price. So you can buy like 10 of something here, and we'll tell you what the price was. Okay. Now we had some insert code options we used in NetBeans. I think we want the generate options here. And in generate, we can get, hey, give me getters and setters if we want, right? Let's let the computer write these ones for us here. So I want Trey, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on by for class. All right. Welcome in, everybody. We are having fun writing some Java code. Hype, my friends. All right. Let's give a shout out here for our friend Trey. In a world full of teachers, one man sits behind a camera with a bunch of raiders. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on by, my friends. So if you folks are interested in learning about trading stocks, pun intended, go check out our friend Trading Stocks. How was your session this morning? You in the green? Started off Monday with a bang? All right, so we're gonna pick the getters and setters that we want. A great day, fantastic. So I want getters and setters here for quantity and price. Shorting SPY still? Okay. Yeah, hello world. Look at that, Trey. You, my friend, are amazing. So we want get and set methods for quantity and price. The idea here is that the quantity can change and the price can change. Right? If I'm going to sell ramen noodles, one day if I have them on sale, maybe I'll sell them for 29 cents a pack. And then the next day, because of supply chain shortages, I don't have as many coming in, and I know I can charge 39 cents a pack, and people are still going to buy my ramen noodles because people love ramen noodles. So we want quantity and price to be changeable attributes here. So I want gets and sets for those here. But for name and SKU, once I put something out on the shelf, I'm pretty sure the name isn't going to change here. And I'm pretty sure that the SKU, that little barcode on the back, is not going to change. So I don't want set values for them. I only want get values for them. So I want to be able to set the name and set the SKU, and I want them never to change again. Ramen futures. I mean, I can't find ramen noodles at the store anymore, so I think that would be a pretty good buy. Toby boss. To be boss? Toby? To be? So not all of your attributes have to have these set methods here, because not everything is going to change. Exactly, let's get weird. It is a college course. Thankfully, we're a community college, so our tuition is not quite as outrageous. Still a lot. But, oh my goodness, why is my phone going crazy? So one of the things we want to do here in our set methods, though, is we want to protect the integrity of our class, right? We want to make sure that we aren't giving values that we shouldn't have here. So let me put this on vibrate here a second instead of my annoying ringtone. Yeah, exclamation point class if you're interested there. Lee 33. I'm probably saying it wrong. So we want to check and make sure that the quantity is valid first. We'll say, hey, if the quantity is greater than 0, then let's go ahead and change the quantity here. Otherwise, I mean, if you give me negative, maybe we'll just set my quantity to 0. We'll say, okay, hey, if you said I'd want -10 of these, maybe we'll just assume it's 0 instead of a negative value, because I'm not going to sell a negative amount of things. I mean, maybe technically someone returning something could be like that, but again, we'll pretend that sort of nonsense doesn't happen. So, and for price, same thing as well. We want to make sure that if the price is valid, so we're not giving things away for free here. So as long as it's greater than 0, we'll take it. Otherwise, maybe we do give it away for free, but not negative. Maybe, okay, this thing has expired, and now we're just going to put these out. Anyone who wants to take them can just take them. But we're not going to have a negative value, because if we have a negative price, now we're giving people money for taking these things off of our shelves, which is probably not the goal. Probably not the goal, right? So again, we still want to be protective here and do some sanity checking of these values that we're being given here. This is our chance to validate these here. So we can change the quantity, we can change the price, but you can't change the name or the SKU or, yeah, that one's it. So now if you can't change them by a set method, we need to make sure we have a constructor here. Remember, constructors' jobs are to set values for all the attributes. So we're going to insert a constructor here. So I'm going to go generate it here because I don't want to do the typing. And we might as well be given all of these values. So I'm there's no checkboxes, so I'm control clicking each of these here. And my constructor now will take values for name, SKU, quantity, and price. So if you make a new item and say, hey, we now have spicy ramen noodles, which are actually really good. I do like the spicy ones. And we've got maybe 100 of them on the shelf, and we're going to sell the spicy ones for 39 cents a piece. We can make it once in one line in the constructor, and then the name and SKU gets set, and I don't have to call set method. So once I put it on the shelf, I've got it there. Now the other piece here, though, I'm just taking the quantity and the price. I don't want to do this, right? Remember, we have set quantity and we have set price methods here that we want to use, because this will do that validation for us. And I don't want to have to do it again in the constructor, right? Because anytime we have the same code twice, we should feel bad about ourselves. So if we have the method, we might as well use it here. Okay, so now I have item. So again, nothing super new here, right? Nothing super interesting. The last thing that we can do, which is sort of interesting and a little bit helpful here, we're going to add a method here for get total price, right? Which can return my price times the quantity. So if I say, hey, my quantity is 12 and my price was 39 cents, right? Great. How much does it cost me for all those ramen noodles? Okay, so we can do that. So now we actually have a new method here. It looks like a get method, but there's no attribute for total price. So this is sort of like you might call it a derived attribute. You could calculate it and store it if you wanted. In this case, we're just doing the arithmetic every time. The reason why we generally don't want to store it is because if quantity or price changes, the total price would also change, and then I have to do that calculation every time I set one of them, rather than every time I just want to ask what the value is. Now, if I'm getting this value out like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, a bunch of times in my code, I might be able to save some time, but again, that's not really anything we super care about at this point. This is just our first programming course, so we're not quite into optimizing here. But it looks like an attribute because we have a get method for it. There's no set method for it, right? It's derived from the values of quantity and price, but we're just calculating it on the fly every time. Man, I'm going to have to refill my coffee here in a minute. Thank you so much for following along, my friends. Glad to have you here in class. All right, so we have item. So item's great. It does all the things that we need it to do here. Now, but what do we do now if we need to start adding some functionality and adding some features? Now, we could change item, but what if we already have used this item class in lots of different places in our application somewhere? You know, because it was so good, it was a great class, and we're already using it. If I change it here, I'm going to have to change it everywhere else I'm using it. And maybe we don't want to do that because it's fine the way that it is. So what we can do is we can make a special version of item here. So to do that, I'm going to add a new class here. We'll call this a taxable item. So now I can charge tax on items. Everyone say boo. So a taxable item then, we're going to use this keyword extends. We're going to say we extend item. So extending creates an is-a relationship. So inheritance is an is-a relationship. So a taxable item is an item, but it's a special version of item. Now, the relationship, this is a thing, is a little bit confusing sometimes, but if you remember back to biology class, I'm sorry, would you give me just a couple seconds here? My little guy is causing some trouble, and I can go refill my coffee. Give me like 5 minutes, okay? And we'll be right back. So we'll do, come back at, say, 10:47. I'm going to refill my coffee and take care of the little guy. I'll be right back, folks. Howdy, friends. Thanks. Sorry about that. Little guy needed to see me. He's a Big Daddy's boy. All right. And terrible news. We're out of coffee. You have to start a new pot of coffee. My wife and my teenage son also drink coffee. So there was none left for me. So I have the last little bit here. But they're making a new pot. So that's the good news, I guess. So anyway, this idea of extending this inheritance creates an is-a relationship. And probably the easiest way to kind of think of it is back to biology class. Remember, you have this idea of classifications of living things. There's kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. I don't know why that's in my head, but it's still in my head, despite all these years. Other important things I've forgotten, but kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species is still in there. So if you remember, one way that we classify animals, right, is we are in the class Mammalia, right? All mammals. So mammals all have things in common, right? We give birth to live young, and there's other things about mammals that I'm not remembering. We're warm-blooded, that sort of thing. So anything that's common can be saved or stored or described in that classification, in that superclass, in the parent class, in the base class. There's all sorts of crazy terms for it here. So you might have base class and derived class. So some people use that term. Some people say parent class and child class. And then some people say superclass and subclass. So I'm fond of super and sub because super is actually a keyword in Java to describe your superclass. So it creates this is-a relationship, right? So an item will be a taxable item here. Now, right now it's upset and it's saying there's no default constructor available in item. Remember, item has a constructor that has parameters. So we need to use the parameters here for item. So when we go and let's see, so what's going to be special about the taxable item? The taxable item will have a double for tax rate. Right, so we will have a specific tax rate for our taxable items. So in Michigan, that's a 6% sales tax on items here. So let's go generate our constructor. And we want tax rate. Now notice it grabs all of the attributes of my superclass here. And then we're going to use this super keyword here. So this calls the superclass constructor. So if your superclass has a constructor and you want to call it, this has to be the first line. You have to do this. Let's do this first. It's absolutely required. Java will not let us do it in the other order. And then we'll set our tax rate. Now again, we might even want a method here for getting and setting tax rate. It's possible that that changes. Not very likely in Michigan because it would take a lot of laws to change. But it could. So we'll generate some getters and setters here for tax rate. And then my set tax rate, we can do some sanity checking here, right? So we can say, hey, if my tax rate is greater than 0, let's go do this thing here. Otherwise, we'll assume that this tax rate is 0, right? If you give me a negative value, we won't take it. But we also then could say, hey, how about else if my tax rate is greater than 1, right? So like 6% is actually 0.06. Right, that's 6%, 0.06 is. If you say 6, that would be 600%. And I really hope we don't have 600% taxes. So we can do some quick checking. We'll say, hey, if it's more than 1, we'll set the tax rate to the tax rate divided by 100. And assume, hey, you probably meant, right, that you gave me 6 when you meant 6% here. So, this should be, hey, if the tax rate is greater than 0 and the tax rate is less than 1, we'll do this, right? If it's greater than or equal to 1, then you probably give it to me wrong here. Otherwise, it's 0, right? So I can say, hey, is it between 0 and 1? Oh, I don't want to remove. No, I don't. That's a terrible suggestion. Terrible suggestion. Right? Otherwise, if it's more than 1, right, you probably gave me 6 instead of 6%, so let's divide for you here. And then otherwise, we'll just do it's 0. Where's my format code here? code and format. Format. Organize. Rearrange code, is that it? Rearrange? No? Here's my... I didn't do it. Reformat code. There we go. Control-Alt-L. There we go. So now it does, fixes things, puts it on the right lines for us and whatnot here. Okay. So taxable item is a type of item. It has all the same attributes as item. So things that are marked as private, I don't have access to, but I can get to via the public methods. Then the last thing we want to do is we want to add a, this is an override. So these overrides, this is not required. This is an annotation saying, hey, Java, I want to change the behavior of my parent class. So when we create subclasses here, and we do this inheritance thing, we create that is a relationship, and then we can make a special version of it. So we can add features, and we can actually change the features of our parent class. So I'm going to change the features of get total price. So to do that, so what I want to do then is I want to get my superclass's total price here. So I can say super.get total price. So super.get total price calls the item version of get total price. So super with no dot is the constructor. Super with a dot is all of those methods here. So super dot, and you can see I have all my methods. Get total price, set price, get name, get quantity. There's a couple extra ones here, don't worry about them. But we want a total price. And then we're going to multiply that by 1 plus the tax rate. Now, I want to add 1 to it here. Oops, sorry, and I need to return that value. Control-Alt-L for formatting. So 1 plus the tax rate here. No, so overrides have to have the exact same signature. It's not an override if you're changing variables or arguments here. So it has to have the same signature for overriding. So that's what this override annotation is going to do for us too. It's going to do some checking. So not only like maybe if I mistype this, if I say, hey, get total price, now it's saying, oh, you're not actually overriding anything. It doesn't do anything here. Get total price. Or if you're to, have some sort of, tax rate in here, it's going to tell us we're not overriding either. It doesn't override anything. Yes, it will overload it. So this is an overloaded method. So you can have two methods with the same name if the signature is different. And remember, signature is just the parameter list. Signature has nothing to do with the return type, funny enough. So overriding is matching the same signature as your parent class because you want to do something special. So in our case, we want to add the taxes to the get total price. These Spindrift sparkling waters are not too terrible. They actually have like actual fruit juice in it. Not terrible. More flavor than a LaCroix, if that's what you're going for sure. But I'm just waiting for that coffee to be done. Yep, so now we can override the behavior of our parent class to get the taxable rate. So now, back here in our main method, like we haven't done anything in main yet. We can go do that in a second. Now I can make some items. Or I can ask the user, hey, enter the name of an item to buy. And then we'll have a string for name. We got to use scanner here. We can actually get some keyboard input. Scanner, keyboard, equals a new scanner, given system.in. And yes, let's add the import for scanner, import class. There we go. Keyboard.next line. And we'll just do a bunch of these things here. Enter the SKU of, and we're going to add the name here. So this will be my SKU. Enter the quantity to purchase of, or the quantity of, I guess, no, quantity to purchase of, plus name, and that'll be an integer for quantity. So we need to do integer.parseInt of the keyboard.next line, integer %, of the keyboard, next line, right? And then enter the price of plus name, and that'll be double.parseDouble. I don't know why I copied that one. I don't need most of that. Double.parseDouble of the keyboard.next line. There we go. Okay, so now I can make an item. So item equals a new item, given the name, the SKU, the quantity, and the price. Is that the right order? I think it's the right order. Yeah, quantity and price. Yeah, quantity first and then price. Cool. And then we can do the same thing here if we wanted for a taxable item. So we'll kind of copy paste this here. And this will be, we don't need to recreate any of these variables here then. We can just reassign the values here. And then we also need the tax rate. The tax rate for the name, and this will be a double for tax rate then. Now we can make a taxable item. Taxable item equals a new taxable item. Taxable item equals a new taxable item, given these things, and the tax rate. And we have to give it all 5 arguments here. Then we have a taxable item, and then we have an item. Okay? Now, one of the things that we get with items, right, is that I can use these as arguments and I can pass them around and I can do all sorts of fun stuff with them here. So I can write a method. So I can have public static void, let's say print item, given an item, we'll just call item. So if you give me the item to print, I'll go print out all the values for it here. So I can say, hey, name is this thing here plus item.getName. And I can do the SKU. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. I can do the SKU, I can do the quantity, and I can do the price. Here, get SKU, and I can get quantity, and I can do price, get price. Here, Control Alt L. We got to figure that out here. There we go. And then we can even do total price, right? I can say total price. Item.getTotalPrice. Get total price. You can even add $signs if we wanted to be cute here. So I can say, hey, let's print item for my item here. Print item given the item. Oh, thank you so much for reminding me to sit a little nicer here. Posture check. I actually have this really cool backboard that I use for stretching my back. It's got these nice little like spiky things on it. I don't know. It's fun. But if I put this behind myself, then try not to slouch so much, because it will actually like kind of force me to sit upright, which is nice. This is much better for my back, especially if you're sitting hours and hours and hours and hours at a time. Okay. So now we can print an item, right? We have our taxable item here. We'll do it in a minute. Oh yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming along, my friend. Glad to have you here. So let's just see if we can get just the item out first, right? We're ignoring taxable item for now. We just want the item. So let's give this a run. I was thinking about it. Yeah, JavaScript is great. We do a lot of things with JavaScript. Unfortunately, that's not a class I teach. Dr. Baugh generally teaches our JavaScript classes. All right, so the name of an item. Let's have some ramen noodles. The SKU, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. The quantity, we're going to buy a dozen of them here, and they're 39 cents each. So then our print here then, right, ramen noodles, SKU 1, 2, 3, quantity 12, price 39. A dozen times 39 cents, I think that checks out here. $4.68. Right, it would be $3.90 plus another 80 cents almost. Yeah, that looks about right, I think. Okay, so it was looking good so far. Now, let me end that process. What's super cool about inheritance now is one of these core concepts. Yeah, it feels bad for sure. I mean, in any language, you can start with some basics. So once you have this is a relationship, right? One of the core concepts of object-oriented programming is this thing called polymorphism. That's a big fancy term, but it means you can treat one object as another type. So what's super cool here is I can take the print item method that accepts an item, and I can give it a taxable item here. And Java says, oh, sure, that's fine. Because a taxable item is an item because of inheritance, it can do all of the things that item can do. So let's run this one. Now, we have some interesting sales tax laws in Michigan in that some food is not taxable, but prepared food is taxable. And it still sort of confuses me. Dog is an animal, yeah. For sure. So let's have ramen noodles again. Noodles, SKU 123. We'll buy a dozen of them for 39 cents each. Great, and now, okay, the next thing we want to buy a taxable item. So prepared food is taxable. So if we were to buy ramen from a restaurant, or like already cooked ramen from, I don't know, like a food bar here. I got you, yeah, let's see if your is right. Yeah, if you read it that direction. So we'll have ramen noodles that are prepared. We'll say prepared ramen noodles. Prepared here. SKU 1234 is going to be different. Let's only buy one of those things, but now they're going to cost me $1.99. And the tax rate is 0.06 for sales tax here in Michigan. Notice get total price added the sales tax already. So we said, hey, this thing is an item, get the item total price. You'd think it would run the get total price method here in item. But what happens with polymorphism is while the program is running, when you get to the method get total price, Java says, oh, let's run the get total price method. Oh, wait, you're not actually an item. You're actually a taxable item. Let's run your overridden version, which is super cool. So at runtime, it's able to figure out what the actual type of your class is and run anything that's overridden here, which is really cool. So now what we can't do, because we're treating it as item, there is no get tax rate. Right? There is no method here. In my main, where it is a taxable item, I can say taxable item, get tax rate. Right? Because it knows it's a taxable item, it knows that method exists. When we're treating it with polymorphism as an item, the only things you can do are the methods defined in item. But if you've overridden them, you'll get the correct version. The overridden version. You pass a taxable item. Overridden? Did I spell that wrong? I love how this thing does spell checking for me. Overridden. Because I need spell check. Let's be honest, folks. Let's be honest. Spell check is amazing. Here, let's cut that. We'll put it up here because that was getting a little long. Okay. So this is essentially the core of inheritance. Right? We create this is a relationship. We're extending our superclass to make a special version of it. You can add features and functionalities here. So if you have a constructor, you've got to call it. It's very important here. Otherwise, it won't even compile for you here. And then we can override behavior in our parent class if we want a new version. Grammarly. Yeah, no, that'd be kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of the IDEs do some decent spell checking. But yeah, actually we're not, oh, there we go. We don't use Grammarly, working in healthcare, and dealing with, HIPAA things. It turns out it's a bad idea to be sending any of the stuff you're typing to a third party, because then Grammarly has all the healthcare info that you're typing. They probably won't do anything with it, but yeah, they're going to use it in their models, and it's going to eventually be stored somewhere. So that's generally not a good idea. Just depends what you're working on. All right, so we have a basic item and taxable item here. What was our lab, my friends? Oh, we didn't go over the lab yet for lab 8 for classes. I mean, it's a great idea, and for most things, I think it makes a lot of sense for Grammarly, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we had cup. There we go. We did our cup class. Did this one go okay for you folks? You want to talk about this one, or are we feeling all right about it here? What do you folks want to do? I'll commit this here as we go. So this is our inheritance section. And we can talk a little bit more about it on Wednesday as well. But I want to get a little lab practice out here. No, so we're not going to get to interfaces. Serpina, we skip that part of the chapter. We're just doing the basics here so that we can get to, or it makes sense when we start using it in Java FX. Interfaces get covered in our next class, the Object-Oriented Programming in Java, 2151. We'll spend more time with interfaces there. Hey, thanks so much for following along, my friend. Glad to have you here. All right, so no one's really interested in the lab. That's okay. Not too big of a deal. We can talk about it later. Yeah, definitely. So I've got, that one is the Tuesday, Thursday mornings, but we've covered it already, but you can definitely check it out on my YouTube, exclamation point YouTube there in chat. We'll give you the link, or you can just look me up. I'm still pretty sure I'm the only Eric Janeski in the world. And unless my brother or cousin have a kid and name it Eric, there won't be any Eric Juniors either. My kids all have a hyphenated last name. My wife is the last one with her last name, so we're going to carry that on. The kids all have the hyphenated name that she has, which is cool. Since that she's the last generation there. And I've got other Chernesky's out there. My brother and my cousin are out there, so not too worried about that one. All right, so let's talk about our lab then. So we're going to write two classes, right? One superclass and one subclass. So let me go get a new GitHub Classroom link. Where is that here? Classroom. Right, for sure, Serpina. So this will be Lab 9. CIS 1500 or 2022 Lab 9. We'll do our Java template here. No, sorry, we don't touch much on the Spring framework, unfortunately. We try not to do a whole lot with frameworks and focus more on the basics because frameworks will come and go, is sort of the idea. No, it's pretty good though. So that one's very popular. We worked with it a little bit, but yeah, we don't do a whole lot with it. All right, so here's our link for it. So we want a new Lab 9. For inheritance. Inheritance. So this will be due in a week, 10 a.m. Please submit the feedback pull request. We're going to write a class rectangle with attributes for length and width. We're going to add set methods for get and set methods. Get set methods for both. We're also going to include, let's not include the constructor for now. We'll tackle that one in the next lab here. Okay, so just length and width, and then we're going to add method for get area and get perimeter. And then we're going to write a class square that extends rectangle. So square is a rectangle, right? It will do this sort of thing here. We need to override methods for set length and set width so that both length and width are changed. Changing one or the other. Changing, right? So if you set length, it should change length and width. If you set width, it should change length and width because a square needs to ensure that it's the same. Area and perimeter will still calculate the same way here. So we just need to override the set methods here. Okay. And then we're going to write unit tests, ensure they all work. We'll go back to unit tests. So in, oh my goodness, idea here, the Intellij tool, we can still do this go to test option. Oh, not for that one here, but for like, I don't know, we'll say taxable item. Say let's go to test. So right click, go to test. I'll say no, let's make some new tests. Sure, let's make some tests. No, JUnit 5 should be fine here. And we don't need any of this extra setup or teardown sort of things here. We just want to get the total price. Let's give that a shot here. Let's see, it should give me a new test. Uh-oh. Nope, I clicked the wrong option. What did I do? All right, hang on, delete that one. Delete. What went wrong? What went wrong? Go to test. I think I went too fast. Create new test, yes. Ah, the package here. That's what it was here. We don't want to put it in the same package. Inheritance. That's what it was. Wow. How? My goodness. Why? That's fine. We want to make it. We want it to be a test package here. Well, that's obnoxious. All right, NetBeans is better at this. That's funny. Fix. Oh, is that what it was yelling me? The module wasn't here? Sure. No, the test class should not go in the same package, is the only thing here. So your test code should go somewhere separate. So usually we have like a new folder for it. And that's why I'm super confused. You keep your test code separate from your main code here. That's why I was all upset, because it should be separate. And it was not doing that for me. No, we want... Why? All right, hang on. Let's see. Let's just Google. Intellij create tests in test directory. Okay, so source main and source test. Okay, so they leave it inside. Okay, it is there. Sometimes I'm confused. Yeah, it should be in a test folder. I'm not seeing where to do that here. Maybe because I messed it up. I changed my changed the name. That's probably my fault. So we just add a new package for test. I guess we just add a new package for test. Let's try that. Go to test. This is harder than it should be. Yeah, I didn't do the com thing. That's fine. This is my fault then. Test, get total price. Let's see if we can do that here. Oh my goodness. He's unhappy. Add it. Okay. So we want a taxable item. So we're going to arrange, we're going to act, and we're going to assert. Right, so I should have a double for the expected total price. We'll say like $1.06. We'll try and keep this easy here. And then we'll act. Let's make a new taxable item. So taxable item equals new taxable item. Now, I don't care what the name is. I don't care what the SKU is. I don't care. The quantity I do care, right? So we'll say 1, and then the price we care about, we'll say was 1, and the tax rate is 0.06. Look at that. This is fantastic. This is super helpful. It's telling me what each of these attributes is. I like. Right, look how pretty that is. Okay, and then we'll have a double for the actual actual total price is my taxable item dot get total price. There we go. And then we'll assert that they match. We'll assert equals the expected total price. My goodness. There we go. And the actual total price. And remember, when we're comparing doubles, we need that delta. How close is close enough? So somewhere within like a millionth should be fine. Right, that's the delta. As long as they're within this much, because remember, Java's really bad at doing arithmetic with doubles. So this should be fine. So let's give this one a run. Let's run our test here and see if our tests pass. Maybe. You don't need to have it in a separate test package. It's just good practice. You don't want your test code to be in the same package as your main code. Is the only thing here. It's not going to hurt anything, and we're not actually shipping production code any places, but it helps you separate your test code from the production code is all. It's just a good habit to get into. And look, our get total price worked. Hooray! It worked. Yes, that's right, Sir Peanut. Thank you. Hooray, we are excited. That's hype. Hype for green check marks, for sure. Okay? That's all we're doing. And again, so we'll do the same idea here. You'll write your tests for your set length and set width and make sure that it works properly. Because if you're not changing length and width, when you get the area and get perimeter, it'll be wrong. Or when you set length, you can do get length and get width and make sure they both changed. Yes, a little victory dance when your tests pass, definitely. It's probably required, right, Sir Peanut? I think that is required. Okay. So we'll practice the testing here, right? Because we want to get some testing done before we get that next project in. So we're going to test that set length changes both length and width. Same with set width. Right, that was the idea for the subclass. Make sure area and perimeter work for the rectangle class. Unit tests for rectangle and square. I'm sure they all work. Right, that's for square. And then, for rectangle, we're testing everything. Okay? So we're going to turn in a link here. So you just make a package. So you just right click here on source and we said new package. If you're doing it in NetBeans, it does it for you because NetBeans was smart enough to figure all that out. I think when I changed the name of my packages here, I confused it. That's probably what happened, but and you can make your own package. So you just right click and say you want a new package and we'll call it test. And it just keeps things separate is all. I'm not going to care if you leave it in with the other stuff. Again, we've got more important things to worry about, but I just try and set some good examples here for that. Okay, so we got the rest of the day to work on that lab. We'll come back on Wednesday and we'll talk a little bit more about inheritance, just a couple other topics there. So it shouldn't be too bad on Wednesday. Okay, with Maven project, it should make the test package. Was this not Maven? Did I mess that up? I thought I took the default for it here. I thought it was. I'm not super familiar with all the different frameworks or tools here. Yeah. I don't know. Not too big of a deal. Oh, it's just the IMO. Okay, so is it... What did I do? I did a new project. I just took the defaults. Oh, no, okay, yeah, I just did Java, so I didn't do a Maven or Gradle. I just did a base Java project. That's probably what. So if I did a Maven one, it might be a little happier. Yeah, that's fine. We can deal with that. It's not too big of a deal. I usually have more of a headache trying to deal with all the other Maven and Gradle things anyway. Okay. So this is my first day using this. I've experimented with it a little bit, and it's much nicer than NetBeans, so I just need to figure out all the nice Nice little tools here. Create from Archetype. Do I want to do an Archetype? What do we get here? And Archetype. I don't even. Those are neat. I don't think I want to do any of that. So I haven't played with it enough apparently. But there we go. All right, so let's find our code. Yep, we got. So here's our tests here. We'll create and push that. We should be in pretty good shape. Okay. All right. Other questions, thoughts, concerns, my friends? All right, cool. I don't think I've got any friends around on Twitch this morning that we could go hang out with. I'll take a look real quick, see if there's anyone around we could go hang out with. But oh, maybe there are. Maybe there are some friends. Let's see. We could go watch some chess, or our friend is doing ceramics. Oh, and it's Pi Day. How did I forget that? It's Pi Day. Go check out some ceramics. Oh, great, Sir Peanut. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, we'll go check out our friend in the Knowledge Fellowship and check out some ceramics here. All right. If there's anything else I can do, you folks let me know. And we'll go from there, all right? It's been great, and I'll see you folks around on Thursday. Just waiting for that book suggestion. We got a minute. Let's see if that'll load here. All right, I think I gotta click this. I don't know, it looks like the timer's running out. It's freaking me out. I'll see you guys around. Take care.
Spring in action with Salty Sweet Citrus.